Howdy folks, TJ here. Excited, a next update dropped today. Henrique dropped it. Update number 13. Oh, 13, that's a little bit of a creepy number, but at least it's not Friday the 13th. Although when I post this video, it's going to be Friday the 14th. Gotta think here. Woo! So, next update dropped. Technically, if we kind of think about it, the next would have been shipping right now if everything had went to plan and we didn't have COVID issues and parts issues and all that. But we know per the last update that the date wasn't going to be hit. But let's read this new update and see if we can take any little bits and pieces and discuss it and see if we can figure out what's going on with the next. Before I start doing that, I want to say how much I love the next. So, if you've been watching some of my recent videos, and I'm lucky to be making this video right now and posting it up on the YouTubes, because a couple of weeks back, we had a pretty good-sized fire. I live up in Northern California. A lot of fire dangers in California, and unfortunately, there was a fire that started about 1.5 miles as the crow flies from our place. Closest one that I can remember to date of size. Been here at this current house for 21 years, and it's a scary one because if the wind was just not quite right, I would not be chatting right now, at least at my current home, and making videos because a lot of people lost some homes. 80 some odd structures lost. It's not a huge fire like the one up further north, the Dixie, which is 600 and some odd thousand acres. But this was a size of one that if it really got out of hand, could have been pretty bad. So I was actually making a video at the time posting and saying, oh, I hear planes and everything flying above. Anytime we hear low flying planes around here, we kind of get nervous. So we were in evacuations warnings. Anytime you're that close to a fire, they're basically starting to put warnings out. And so our home here was only 1.5 miles away, and they said evacuate. It wasn't mandatory yet because probably the wind and where it was about, but they said, you should leave. If not, we may let you know soon that you have to leave. So I diligently, oh boy, that's a hard word for me. We kind of have some bug out stuff on the ready, so I had things packed, pets on the ready, pet carriers out, things of importance to me. And then and what's this have to do with the next? Well, my next is right there. And then as I looked over at it, I go, my box is right there. My next is there. I'm going to pack it up because it is that dear and near to me. Near and dear and near. That I was going to take it with me in case, because I wouldn't want to lose it. It's not as easy to get a next, but I can always get another Mac Pro or something else. I do have my Sam Coupe there, and I eyeballed it also saying, I've got to weigh things out, and I was going to take it too. But the next was the most important one for me, so I have the box there on the ready, had it packed, and yeah, I love the next. So anyway, I'm glad to be making this video. We have our beautiful home still, and it's a pretty scary place to be in California these last number of years. The wildfires are well out of control, crazy, and anytime you got to be ready to spring out. So my next is part of my bug out bag. Anyway, back to the report. I'm happy to be making videos again because I lost internet. That fast internet that I started talking about, that we finally got after 20 some odd years, I had it for about 4 days and then the fire took it out. It was that close, so it took out poles, lines. We had no idea when it would be getting it back. That's a small issue because people lost their homes. But it did kind of suck. We were without internet for 1.5 weeks, no TV for 1.5 weeks. Not a big deal. We kept our home. And I feel pretty sorry for the folks that lost much more than just the stupid internet. So anyway, let's talk about the 2C board design wrap-up. That's the title of this one. And the first sentence cracks me up because as an American, as a USA guy, if I walked down the street and said, the Boffins at the Electric Studio in Nottingham, that's just a lot to take in one sentence. That's kind of funny. But I can understand it. I've been following this next stuff enough to where the Boffins makes perfect sense. That's scary. Anyway, it starts out with the Boffins at the Electronic Design Studio in Nottingham have finally concluded the 2C design, packing more than 30 changes and improvements over the 2B. I was going to read that as 28. My glasses, I can't read. Bad eyes. Taking the ZX Spectrum to the next level. Very cool. So the final manufacturing package featuring all the info to enter production is being delivered on August 20th. That's tomorrow. Entering testing manufacturing immediately, and it should be with us in a jiff. So when I see the word jiff, I do think of fast, but typically I think of peanut butter. Jif peanut butter. And we've secured all the parts. Don't use peanut butter when you're putting this together, folks, because the rats and stuff love peanut butter, and we don't want rats chewing on our computers. Like Toyota. Is it Toyota? I've got a Toyota FJ. Well, I did. And I think the way they wrap their electric wires, I don't know if it's wrapped in peanut butter or they put some good flavor in there because the rats like chewing through it. And it's stupid. You want to put deterrent stuff on the wrap so pests don't chew on stuff. You got to think about these things, you know. Okay, back to this video's all over the place, but I'm excited because there's some good next stuff coming up here. So where was I? Yeah, they've secured all the parts and assembly in advance, accelerating development as much as possible without compromising on the functionalities and performance we deem necessary for the project. So they seem well prepared for this section of their board. The many changes include a new certified Wi-Fi module, Wi-Fi module, fully retro-compatible with the existing software, noise reduction throughout the board. Yes, I like that part. Better expansion port handling, particularly the /INT signal. That went right over my head. Int signal. Improved tape input for easier loading. That's something I have not done yet. I don't have the right cable adapter to connect the tape unit to mine, so I've got to figure that out because I'd love to try to do that. Tape input for easier loading of some of the new tape decks. Cleaner audio output. Awesome. Stronger internal speaker signal. Now mine does not have a little internal speaker. The new one does not come with it stock. Will I do it on one of them? Yes, I think I'm going to eventually dive into putting a speaker inside one of my Nexts. I may do it on my original so I don't screw up the newer one, but we'll see. That in time, we'll see. But the reason they've done that so it will support better AY sound reproduction from that speaker. Extra protections to all ports, power or more power available to peripherals, optimized RAM lanes, HDMI back power blocker. That's cool because I think probably most folks run into it, but for me, if I turn off my Next, the red light stays on part of the time. I'd say 50-50 chance. And for me, I just have to turn my monitor power on and off and it goes off. But it's getting some power from that HDMI. So cool that they blocked that. And they fixed a few other bits and bobs. And then they have a picture. And I think I'll try to take a snapshot of the picture and add it to the video as I'm editing. But they've got a picture and it says, wait, are we on version 2E already? What? Yeah, so they keep calling the board 2C, but then they say 2E. That confuses them. They just should stick with the letter. 2C, 2D, 2E, and call it that and make it that. Not call it 2C and 2E. Maybe there's some internal thing about that. But anyway, now we've got 2E written down. And it's a picture of the TB Blue board, and it shows it in green. And so I'll put the picture someplace in the video. I'll try to remember to do that. Says the work took much longer than anticipated, but we feel it was worth doing. So obviously they're taking their time, they're working hard, and a huge thanks to Alan Albright and Tim Gilberts. Hi Tim, I've got you as a friend on Facebook. For endless testing, insightful solutions, persistence, and a lot of patience and care for the details that made all this possible. These guys are seriously rocking. Or he actually said, these guys seriously rock. But you gotta improvise. When you start reading it wrong, you just roll with it, right? So yeah, very cool. So that's the 2C board. They basically are about to throw it at manufacturing, it looks like, and get some boards made up. Component shortages and shipping timeline. This is what most of you folks are here for. This is a pretty long part of the update. I'm not going to read it all, but I'll read part of it. It says, it's no news that there's a severe shortage of components in the global market at the moment, as we reported in more detail in the previous update. The shortages have become so serious that in order to assemble the last test boards in the UK, we had to provide backup FPGAs we have in stock ourselves, as the lead time for ordering even a small batch of 10 was 50 plus weeks. Wow, so dang, they're lucky they had these, right? So the situation is not so bad in the East, they say. Though, our manufacturer partner over there who handles the Wi-Fi modules, PSUs, and SD cards, etc., is able to secure most of the components under 12-week lead time, with the exception of some key parts like the FPGA chips. Unlike the UK situation, though, it's possible to secure even the difficult parts with what is called spot prices. Probably you should determine that, gouge prices. I'm sure some of these folks are gouging, but I can understand. I guess if they're just in high supply, people are going to do what they typically do, unfortunately. Which basically means paying a premium to bypass the delays. So you could, like the Disney Pass, you pay extra and you could get to the front of the line to go up and down the roller coaster rides quicker than everybody else. It's been a long time since I've been to Disneyland. I have no idea if they still have that type of pass. Anyway, ranging from 10% to 25% for most critical bits, you guess, like the FPGAs. I feel I had some spittle there popping out. I'm excited. So, yeah, you probably saw. I should slow-mo a little spittle. Okay, I'm amped up today. So, he's talking about the FPGA still. Pricing's through the roof, hard to get. Thus, we find ourselves in a decision to make. A conundrum. I added the conundrum. I'm rolling with it. Stick to the original plan and face the long delays for ordering parts in the UK, Europe, which could set us back up to a year. Oh, no, no, oh, no. Some of you are all, oh, your hearts are pounding. I can feel it. I can feel it. My heart's pounding too, because I haven't read this yet. Or bypass by ordering and assembling in the East. While we can afford the extra cost to some of the parts, we will not be able to afford to pay the spot prices, the import duties, and the handling fees of the manufacturers in the UK. Okay, keep reading, keep reading. Let's see what they say. And all these compound one another to basically double the price of the said parts. So bringing the parts ourselves to assemble in the UK is not workable. As the ZX Spectrum Next project is made at pretty much cost, we don't have that leeway on this front. So regardless of which avenue we take, and I'm talking as if I was them, so we will be ready to manufacture in mid-September. So that's a cool part to take out of it. They are ready to assemble in September. Now, are they? I don't know. I couldn't make sense of that so far. Depending on availability of the parts to assemble the computers. So there still could be a parts issue. They are ready, but by September, but there's lots of buts here. But. As such, we'll consult with the community and backers this week. So I don't know. What's that mean? Are they going to send us an email? Are they going to just post notes and take a poll? I don't know. On what they think about is best. While manufacture and test the final design in parallel, we are inclined to go for the manufacturing in the East. Oh, that's a good sign. So still, there's parts issues and cost issues, and we have trust in and fully validated the partner over there, allowing us to bypass a long delay to deliver the Spectrum Next. Okay. Let us know what you think. So start letting them know, or let them post what they're going to post and then let them know in the comments below. And this is if you're a Kickstarter. If you're not part of the Kickstarter and purchased the Next externally in some way or directly, you may not be able to view this and post in there. But anyway, it says, feel free to engage in the discussion on Facebook group, but please be kind to one another. Yes, be kind. It makes 0 sense to be a jackass, right? There's much more to life. I had a fire within 1.5 miles from our home. Could have lost everything. I'm still trying to stay in good spirits. I was about to dump my shorts, lose everything, pack a next. People have lost their homes. The Dixie Fire, 650,000 acres. People, animals, wildlife gone. It's a computer, folks. I love my Next, but people are more important. So be kind. So, it says be kind to one another and us, they point, as we know that this decision will spark passions and objective points of view. Together we can take the right course. So they're kind of leaving it open to field out some what folks are going to say. My guess is you'll have folks like me saying take as long as you need. Now 50 weeks is a long time. I don't know if that 50 weeks is still in the equation, but they did say a year, up to a year delay. So that would mean summer of 2022. That is a long time. It would suck, I agree. I would love to have my new Next. I'm lucky to have a Next that I can enjoy. But there's over $2 million of folks that may not have a Next because the Next, Kickstarter this last summer was pretty awesome. And I feel bad for them because they would be without a Next. They do have an option, though. They could support that other NGO board. I still need to buy mine. I do want to get one to support the cause. I just kind of run out of money at the moment. So you could always buy one of those to hang you over. It is basically a Next, just less the nice keyboard and stuff. And then when you get the Next, you can either keep it and have it as a backup or sell it to somebody else, whatever. So, and then you're going to have jackasses. And you're going to have people talking and yapping about the delay and stuff like that. So, look, these folks aren't making big money at this point or any money. If they probably sell it at cost, they're probably making a few bucks to make this all work. So be kind, be generous. I would say at this point, I'd love to see it this year. I would love to see it spring of next year. It would suck to have to wait until summer of next year, but understandable under the situation. And for me, I've owned a Next, so I'm not going to have too big of qualms about it. Anyway, so that's that part. Staying ahead of the curve talks about component shortages again. They're talking about the SD card, 16 gigabyte for the Next and the RPI accelerated boards. There's other things that they can be doing in the meantime, even though if there could be a delay. It looks like, for instance, we've already ordered and paid for all the keyboards from our manufacturing partner to lock in the price. So if they've done that, that's awesome. Looks like the 16 gigabyte and the cards for the SD sleeves, keyboards, PSUs. They've done a lot of preliminary stuff, so that's good. I think the main part is the Next itself at this point. Next, we'll start recording contents on the SD cards. There are also smaller bits and bobs. Bobs and bits are always in this mix. Here in the United States, if you got your bits and bobs out, in some places that's perfectly acceptable. You don't want a new puppy around because puppies eat bits and bobs. And if you're sitting there bending over and things are dangling, you may not be with them the next few minutes. So yeah, beware of bits and bobs. Oh, this video is taking a turn. So it's like conducting an orchestra, he says, and they're trying to manage things and they're hunching on stuff. And so anyway, so there's no firm answer here, folks. There could be a delay. They could start manufacturing. There's some decisions to be made. To me, it still seems like the FPGA is of an issue, even if they go with the East, but I couldn't quite tell from that if all components were fine if they went with the East, or if there's still going to be some delay on some major ones. So to me, it seems like no matter what, there's going to be some form of delay, even if they say go for it. Next, ZX OS new features. And this looks cool, and I'll try to post a picture. It shows the browser. So how should I sort this out today? So many options, so many choices, and it shows the browser and it shows additional info that I'm not used to. It says here that they've added a file information column showing the size, dates, times, or attributes so you can view more information in the browser. Very cool. I like that. You can sort by file name, size, and date, time. An incremental search to quickly locate files. Very cool. Optionally listing all directories before files. Optionally hiding and special directories. So it looks like they've added some cool stuff to the browser. There's also an extended menu providing additional actions for currently selected file, like showing a hex dump, editing, or converting between text and Next Basic. So it looks like they've spruced up Next ZX OS a bit and adding some extra goodies. I think it's fair to say the Next ZX is the most advanced. Next ZX OS is the next most advanced, feature-rich 8-bit OS out there, and keeps getting better. Cool. Next up, Next SID. So I'm not super duper high on music. I love listening to music. I have played with Next Dawn. I made my own music or soundtrack for my video game, Invasion of the Cloud People. So this is just another fun way for music. Next Sid. I know that's a music way to play music. And so there's a new, it looks like there's a program called Next Sid. And it says Emook has released Next Sid, a .pt3 player that sounds as great as it looks. So there's a link to it. There's a GitHub link to it where you can download it. So if you're into Commodore SID chip music, go check it out. What? You don't use a mouse yet with the Next? What? So it looks like it's mouse oriented, and I do use a mouse on my Next. Glad to say. Next up is Xeno Brigade Goes Physical, a new game for ZX Spectrum Next. When I hear the word brigade, I think of Rock Brigade by Def Leppard. I'm a Def Leppard fan. Rock Brigade. Okay, enough of that. So Xeno Brigade. It's a new game that you can buy from Bitmap Soft. I do not own this one yet. I should buy it, but like I said earlier, I'm a little poor at the moment, so can't buy that, but a new game for Next. Very cool. Marbles Squared with online leaderboard. I have done a video on Remy Sharp's awesome game. I loved it. Very fun game. There's a link to this game where you can download it. Support Remy. He does a lot for the Next community. So if you go download his game at his itch.io account, throw him a few marbles. Marbles, in some countries, marbles are probably worth something. How about a few pennies, a few coins, a few bits and bobs? I may have lost my bobs here at my home because I've got a puppy. So, get out! Get out! So there's a game, and immediately when I saw the picture, I thought of the 3D maze that I played on my ZX 81, or was it ZX? No, it's ZX 81, or here in the US, my TS 1000 from Timex. That game, without sound, was still phenomenally fun because out of nowhere, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you're in the maze, you feel it. You can feel it breathing down your neck. You can feel saliva dripping on your neck. I was as amped up playing that game without sound as I am with many games with sound. And this looks like I don't know if there's a Tyrannosaurus in this game, but it immediately gave me that feel. And it is inspired by 3D Maze. And so it says, you landed on a planet in a faraway solar system and became a prisoner of the inhabitants. However, one day you find the place deserted of all life, so decide to get out. So I don't know what creatures are in this. I'm going to download it. I'm going to try it. I sure hope there's some badass creature that's going to rip me up, but I bet you there's probably sound in this game, which is fine. I do enjoy my sounds too. And this is the end. It says, and that's it for this update, folks. As mentioned, keen to hear any feedback you have on the project. Let's work on this together. So they're listening to the folks. I'm sure they probably have a digested idea of what they can do. They're the holder of the money. They know what they can afford. So hopefully there's some good compromise here that maybe they can buy stuff at a little bit higher price and wait until first quarter of 2022 or spring of 2022 rather than have to wait a full year until summer. So maybe there's some compromise. Maybe that's an idea. So anyway, the following updates with we have more production meat on the bones, so stay tuned. So that's it. This is a long video, but hopefully you enjoy my animated delivery style. I've just amped up about Next. I love my Next, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. So buy a Next if you don't own one, even if you have to buy it on eBay. Or just wait, because eventually price will come down. Maybe they'll have a few extras at some point, and you'll be able to buy one. So anyway, thanks for watching this Next update, number 13. It's not Friday, so all is well. It's not Friday the 13th, it's Thursday the 13th. So, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And hopefully this is recorded, because my phone was at like 95% left. So probably none of this recorded, or I didn't hit the start button.